Silver is one of the most exciting precious metals at the moment, and Argentina is a country with some of the world's best opportunities in this sector. Companies that are expanding their mining operations in Argentina could provide investors with incredible long-term returns. This is the story of one of them. Silver bullion in vaults worldwide have reached their lowest levels in 200 years. Silver miners have been allowed to slow production to a halt due to world governments continuously selling off their bullion reserves since the end of World War II. Meanwhile, the current environment of expansionary monetary and fiscal policies worldwide provides a supportive backdrop for a bull market in silver, whilst a lack of significant silver discoveries over past decades means that the building blocks are in place for an explosive rally in the silver price.
There has been a lack of discoveries over the last decade, and I think it's for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the easy-to-find outcropping deposits in first-tier jurisdictions have mostly been found. The fact is, geologists are having to look undercover and go to the more far-flung jurisdictions to make these discoveries. Second to that, we've been in a bear market for the better part of the last decade. Lower metal prices reduce the amount of risk capital in the market for exploration companies to access. Low metal prices are tough for the senior producers. Senior producers are having to cut their budgets, and the first section that they cut is exploration. In this next cycle, I think exploration and discovery are going to be a major theme.
The fundamentals for silver are excellent, and the upside potential for the silver price is nowhere close to being reached.
What is going on with silver? Depending on the time frame, we see somewhere around a 30-to-1 ratio. That seems to be the average between the extremes. 15, 16 to 1, all the way up to, we had an anomaly in May, which was crazy, 124 to 1, all-time high. That number will come back and forth and vacillate through different markets, but right now we're 67, which means that from that one metric, silver is very cheap compared to gold. Is it an industrial metal or is it a precious metal? The answer to me is that it's both.
Silver's new momentum has significantly reduced the historic gold to silver ratio, moving it closer to its historical average of 65 to 1 of the past 40 years. Also, a lack of exploration means that an M&A boom lies ahead for companies with substantial silver assets.
The macro fundamentals of the senior mining companies have arguably never been better, and this is due to margins. In the past, rising metal prices have been met with rising operating costs, and this has kept margins mostly in check. Today, this isn't the case. Rising metal prices haven't been met with rising operating costs. There is a glut of money that's been pushed towards the senior mining companies, which really sets us up for an interesting M&A market in the future. The senior mining companies have cut their exploration budgets over the last 10 years, and thus they're not able to replenish their depleting coffers with their own resources. In particular, I see a really big opportunity in silver. Silver companies that have high-grade deposits in well-established mining jurisdictions are extremely rare, and therefore are going to be sought after by these senior mining companies as they look to add ounces to their reserves.
We believe that Argentina presents an incredible asymmetric opportunity in terms of jurisdiction and geological potential. In terms of the jurisdiction, it's important to note that mining in Argentina is governed by the provinces, much like it is in Canada or in the United States, where it's governed by the individual states. And depending on the prevailing attitude within each province or state, that determines whether you have either a fantastic jurisdiction in some cases or downright terrible jurisdiction in other cases where people are opposed to mining. In the case of the Diablillos project, we're located in Salta province, which is mining friendly, much like Nevada is in the United States. As a result of that, it's a much more favorable location to build a mine and to be able to get permits as well as community support. There's been very little mineral exploration or mining done in Argentina compared to Chile. And so I think because of that, there's a much higher chance of making a new mineral discovery in Argentina. We don't have a lot of competition for new projects either. And as evidence of that, last year we acquired 2 other exploration projects. They're both located in San Juan, which is another good mining jurisdiction in Argentina. And I think had those projects been in a place like Chile or Peru or Mexico, we probably would have had to pay at least 5 or 10 times the amount that we paid.
Understand Argentina and its monetary history. I think you have to realize that they've been in an economic downward spiral since they defaulted on their debt in 2001. Since then, they defaulted a further 9 times and are currently in discussions with the IMF on restructuring their debt and pushing payback to 2024. Without a doubt, this creates risk for investors in Argentina. With that said, I've always been of the philosophy, if I can buy a company that's selling for less than its value, is led by good people, and has an action plan that, if successful, will be recognized by the market, then I'm willing to take on that jurisdictional risk. Their actions to date show that they haven't been successful in changing their fortunes. And I think they're going to have to look to real growth sectors, such as the mining industry, to change things.
Some of the best and cheapest silver assets in the world lie in Argentina. The country represents one of the best ways to play the coming silver boom.
Nadie niega los problemas macroeconómicos de la Argentina, pero eso nunca ha sido un obstáculo para la erradicación de capitales extranjeros ni para el desarrollo de la minería. Al contrario, es para nosotros una oportunidad de erradicar inversiones importantes y justamente contribuir a resolver de a poco esta problemática. La importancia de la minería en leyes fundamentales como nuestra propia Constitución Nacional, podemos decir y asegurar que Salta es un lugar de extraordinarias condiciones integrales para todo desarrollo minero.
The province of Salta in Argentina is one of the most investor-friendly mining jurisdictions in the world. And Salta is one of the lowest cost jurisdictions relative to other parts of Latin America. The annual Fraser Institute survey was just published, and Salta province was ranked as the #1 region for investment attractiveness in all of Latin America.
An interesting statistic, for every dollar that leaves the country due to mining in Argentina, $24 comes in. And this is a great ratio. This is something that needs to be further exploited in the future. You have provinces like Salta and San Juan who have a history of mining, have good mining law, and a general good attitude towards mining that I think is needed. Bottom line, if the Argentine government wants to change their economic fortunes in the future, mining has to be a part of it.
AbraSilver Resource Corporation is a company that is uniquely positioned to benefit from the tailwinds that are combining across this sector and geography. Formerly called AbraPlata, AbraSilver Resource Corporation is developing an exciting investment opportunity in the Salta region of Argentina.
AbraPlata is an advanced stage exploration company. Our flagship property is called Diablilos, and it's had over 40 million US spent on exploration. And so as a result, we're sitting on quite a large resource base, totaling about 140 million ounces on a silver equivalent basis, or close to 2 million ounces on a gold equivalent basis. Our objective is to continue to grow the size of the project. And so at the moment, we're undertaking quite an aggressive exploration campaign, which has already resulted in several very encouraging high-grade results. Back in 2018, there was a preliminary economic study completed on the project, which showed very good returns based on quite conservative commodity price assumptions. And I'd say importantly, just given our objective of growing the resource base further, we think there's still excellent upside potential to further improve the economics here. And so we're working on delivering an updated PA study, which will be announced later in 2021. And we think this could be quite a significant catalyst for the company. AbraPlata's a very well-funded company. In 2020, we raised a total of $25 million, and we were very fortunate to have brought on the legendary mining investor, Sprott, as our top shareholder. So as a result, we're fully funded to advance the Diablilos project all the way to a production decision, which we expect is about 24 months away. Now, being fully funded is extremely important for any exploration company, of course. Essentially what this does is it removes near-term financing risk for us, and allows us really to focus on our goals of aggressively moving the project forward. Our Diablilos project currently has over 80 million ounces of silver and over 730,000 ounces of gold. So certainly quite a large-scale project. The revenue would be about 60% silver and 40% gold. So definitely a very nice breakdown between both those metals. Now, based on the 2018 PEA study that was completed, this project would, on average, produce over 10 million ounces a year on a silver equivalent basis at very low cash costs of about $7.50 per ounce. So this is certainly a very economic project, not only in the current commodity price environment, even at much lower commodity prices than we enjoy today. I believe there are a few key points that truly help differentiate us. We're very fortunate to have extremely strong, supportive shareholders. The top 3 shareholders in our company own about 40% of the shares outstanding. And we're very fortunate that those are within the hands of Eric Sprott, Altius Minerals, and SSR Mining. To date, none of those shareholders have sold a single share. Secondly, we already have a project that's very highly economic. So it's been significantly de-risked from that perspective. Based on the PEA study, this project is anticipated to be very large scale, low cost, has relatively low capex, and there's excellent infrastructure in place as we're in a very mining-friendly jurisdiction. From an investor's perspective, this is very important, as this is not one of the projects that needs much higher silver prices in order to make this economic. This is already a very economic project, and our focus is just to continue to unlock further value. Lastly, we continue to trade at very attractive valuation levels. And so at the moment, our share price is basically trading at a fraction of the value that was included in the 2018 PEA study, which was based on only $1,300 an ounce gold. And so as a shareholder today, you're essentially paying no value for the additional commodity price upside, for some of the exploration potential that we're currently unlocking. And so I think at this time, this represents quite an asymmetric investment opportunity, and we think there's plenty of blue sky upside for shareholders.
The case for silver has seldom looked better. Silver is a real asset which cannot be debased or devalued. Investor interest in silver is broad, global, and growing, benefiting from the green energy revolution, which will require a multi-year infrastructure build-out. The outlook for silver miners is highly favorable, especially when compared to most other equity sectors, whilst Argentina is a safe jurisdiction and one of the cheapest ways to invest in the ongoing silver boom. AbraSilver Resource Corporation stands out as a well-funded company with one of the most attractive silver assets anywhere in the world.